Good morning, Internet. Today is not Tuesday, but it is, in fact, Wednesday, February 20th, 2013, for all you future people who are wondering, looking through the archaeological ruins of our ancient civilization. I wonder if they'll even be able to read the discs that all this stuff is stored on. Anyway, total divergence there. I promised a video yesterday, and I did not deliver. I apologize, Internet. I'm definitely going to have to improve at the consistency aspect of doing these. I think that's going to be the hardest part for me, is some days I'm just not feeling it, but I want to push through and train myself to make these things as much of a daily part of my life as I can. I was going to sit down and make a video yesterday, and I had been downloading BioShock 2 on Steam earlier in the morning, and when I sat down it had just finished downloading, so I thought, oh well, I'll give that an install and try it out. And actually the story begins before that. Monday I did or was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. I downloaded it and started playing it, BioShock 2, and everything seemed to be working fine. Loaded right up. It was working great until I get to the part where you need to use your hack tool for the first time. You know, maybe 20 minutes into the game, and suddenly realize that there's a bug that means if you remap any of your keys, you can no longer hack, and you can no longer, I believe, based on my reading, you can no longer rescue the Little Sisters either, because the key bindings just sort of disappear and get locked up. So, hooray, I searched the internet for some solutions, you know, find there's some key binding file that you can alter, tweak that as per instructions, and now the game just won't load at all. So I completely delete the Steam folder, uninstall it, re-download, you know, another however many 10 gigs or whatever ridiculous thing it is. Still doesn't work. So then I spent way too much time trying to figure out how to update the game. Do I have to do it through Games for Windows Live, because that is a part of this game, it keeps popping up information, but I bought the game through Steam, so it doesn't show up in Games for Windows Live. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to manually add a game to Games for Windows Live. 2K apparently only updates via Games for Windows Live, despite the fact that they also distribute their game via Steam, and Steam is supposed to also take care of updates, but doesn't. So finally, search, finally found manual update, updated the game, still no fix. Tried running as administrator, looking at make sure ports were open. I mean, just the whole thing. And by the end, I was just so aggravated, I just quit searching and quit trying, and I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. Because my first 20 minutes of the game, I was really enjoying. And now, I just have a terrible taste in my mouth from the whole experience. I mean, come on. When you run into a catastrophic bug 20 minutes into the game that the developers didn't find, I mean, that's kind of bad. And I mean, it's been out for 3 years, and the update doesn't fix it. The patches don't fix it. There don't appear to be any fixes that don't break other things available online. So, I don't know. So that put me in a really foul mood, and then I just lost all interest in making a video at that stage. And, but I'm back today. I have the house to myself for a little bit. My wife's off delivering a couple of babies today. Today's normally her day off, but she's off doing that, so I have a couple of quiet minutes to make a short video. So, to make up for yesterday. Now, I could just ramble on about how BioShock 2 has made me angry, but I think what I was planning on talking about yesterday was workflow stuff. I had hit on the topic before in a previous video about getting back to paper and getting out of the digital world for in-process workflow stuff. And that video seemed to get more hits than the rest of mine, so I thought I would try going back to that topic and talking about that a little bit. Of course, this doesn't apply to everybody. You know, there are people whose work is digital. You know, say a graphic designer who, you know, their entire workflow is in the digital environment by necessity, by design. That's different. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you know, being low tech for the sake of being low tech. You know, that's not where I'm going here. I'm just trying to talk about a revelation that I had where keeping things in digital format for me is a great archival technique. It's great for saving things, storing things, even organizing things to some extent. You know, files and documents and pictures and projects and, you know, whatever it is you're doing. So it's great for that stuff, but when you are actually working on something, something's in progress, I found doing things in digital format. Let me just give you an example. If I was working on a business plan, say, and so it's a giant Word document, while I'm working on it, if I leave it in digital format as a Word document and I go open up the Word document and I add, edit, change stuff, it was always very difficult to sort of stay on track with it, to see the big picture when you're down in these little sections and these giant walls of text. You can't see the whole page. You can't see the structure of the document. You zoom so far in on something that it's just you lose the entirety of the thing. Maybe this is related to personality. I think that's quite probable. So those of you with other personality types than mine may not find this helpful. I think it might have more general application, though. I guess people will just have to see. But so instead of leaving things in digital format, what I learned to do was print things out. So take my 20-page business plan document, print it out, and then sit down with a pen and make my edits on the paper with the pen. Now, I know some of you are thinking that that just sounds insane, that that's backwards by 20, 30 years, and that there's no reason to do that. It wastes time, and it means you just have to go back and re-enter all your edits later, and then you have a stack of paper to deal with. That's all true. But having the stack of paper in front of you, and I mean, this is not a theoretical example, this is a real example. I believe this is my file here. So I have, you know, I have this document here. It's a big, long document. Essentially boils down to a business plan. And I mean, how many pages did this thing end up being? This is, yeah, about 20 pages. If I left this digital, first of all, it would be buried in some subfolder way deep down inside the bowels of my computer, and I would not see it. It wouldn't be visible to me on a daily basis when I sit down at my desk or when I'm in my office here. It's totally hidden away. And for me, I think, again, this is personality related. For me, out of sight is very much out of mind. Which is why people of my personality type, INTP, in case you're wondering, tend to have very messy work environments, I think, because seeing something sitting there triggers me to go back to it and work on it. If it's hidden away in the computer, there's no trigger, and it takes much longer for me to get back to a project. I have to be far more intentional about going and seeking it out. If I have things out and available, then I'm much more likely to get back to them. Also, this is physical when I have this stack of paper here. And human beings are physical creatures. There's something that's lost when you put it in digital format. You can't hold it with your hand. You can't turn the pages. This gives a connection to your work in kind of an abstract, esoteric kind of way, but I feel the effects of it. It makes it far more real. It gives me a much better sense of my progress that I'm making. I mean, I can see the stack of paper grow. I can see, blank areas in here that I haven't worked on slowly fill in. I can see my edits get, less and less, and eventually there are none, and I'm left with a good document. I can feel what this is going to be like when I print it out and hand it to an investor. That stuff is all important, and we lose that in the digital conversion, and we maybe aren't thinking about that when we move digitally. Let me see. There were a couple other things I wanted to say about this. Yeah, when I have the paper document, I can see the whole thing. It's really, really easy to flip between pages. I mean, I can, I can unclip the corner here and, lay out page 3 and page 17 next to each other. Just like that. I mean, I don't have to go find some command in Word that will let me split the page and navigate to different windows, and, and only have, a fixed amount of space on my screen. I can sit down on the living room floor and spread every page out next to every other page if I want to, in whatever order I want. It's just so much easier to navigate this working document in physical form. Now, yes, you do have to go back and make your edits in the computer. But another advantage to doing it in paper form is I get this, let me see here. I get this little version. Let's see, will that focus? Oh, come on. I don't think my webcam's that good. Anyway, I mean, every time I print out a copy, I give it a version number. I write down the date that I saved the file and the date that I printed it out. And then I have that fresh, clean copy, and I go back to it with a pen. And then when I make those edits, resave it, reprint it, I give it another version number. And so I actually have a stack of these things that go back in time, all my different versions. Now, yes, there's version control, rev control in Word, but first of all, it doesn't really work very well. And second of all, it's just a pain to look at. You don't get a sense of the progression that's happening. You get this jumble of colored text and names and craziness. I mean, it isn't a helpful tool. It's not a helpful way to look at it. So for me, this is really important, getting to the paper workflow. It's a stack that sits on my desk that I can see. It's within arm's reach. So when I sit here, I can see it. I'm reminded of it. It brings it back to, into my short-term memory, my working memory. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to talk about. I guess I can bring up another example. I have an uncle who is an engineer in Silicon Valley, and he has kept records from his whole career. Notebooks and prototypes and bits and pieces of devices that he's worked on, samples, you know, drawings, scribbled notes, phone call, you know, phone conversation notes, all that kind of stuff, for his whole career. And this might sound like a nightmare of paper, but it actually takes up a fairly small size space in his closet. You know, a filing cabinet, and then a little, you know, a box for some of the physical parts and things that he's kept. And that is now a resource. He calls it his library, and I think that's a very good term to use. It's his library that he can go back to and research as he moves forward with his career. It's always something that he can mine for ideas, for problems that he's already solved in the past, for educational purposes, because he does some educational work. So it's a great resource for that. It's this complete archive kind of his life's work, in a sense. And I think that I don't think that would work in digital format. You know, if you had 1,000 files, 1,000 Word documents, you know, with pictures and whatever in them, in your computer, it would not be accessible in the same way. You couldn't go, you know, walk over to the filing cabinet and go, oh yeah, I worked on that in 1987 in this company, and flip through and go grab it out and physically have in your hand a part, a notebook, drawing, everything that you can just walk over to your couch and look at, or bring with you to a client meeting, say, or whatever. Those files are just not, they're good for recording and, you know, so recording that information for posterity, I guess, when it's in digital format. It gets hidden away, squirreled away somewhere, and it will just sit there. Of course, it's all limited by the hardware that we're using. You know, hard drives don't last forever. Yahoo got rid of their GeoCities data. You know, big respected company just deleted a bunch of data. So things on the internet, things in the cloud, don't last forever either. Piece of paper, you know, that can last centuries. That can last millennia, in fact. So I guess those are a few of my thoughts. I may circle back to this idea again if I think of some more kind of interesting tidbits about it to share. It's, you know, it's something that I'm just learning to do as I go. Yeah. I guess I'll leave it at that for today. We're coming up on 20 minutes anyway. So again, apologize for no video yesterday. Hopefully this will sate you until I am back on Thursday tomorrow. Should be doing another video. Not sure yet what I'll be talking about. I will give that some thought today though. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will be back on Thursday with another video. So take care. See you guys all later.